and and like I was saying, like you couldn't just. And I guess with the friends I grew up around with, like Marcus Harris, Antonio Dean, Jordan Young, Justin Young, Emeka Igwe, Patrick Igwe, fuck, who else? My cousin Reggie, my cousin DJ, Sterling Mullins was there, Nick and Edit Weddy, Terry Evans, Cameron Evans. I'm probably forgetting that Matt Coas, he was there too. Craig Berry, Paul Sikorsky, Tony Mitchell, Matt Eckerman, Alan Fornash, and his family. Like, all of us knew each other, like knew different people. Like, so if I knew Matt Eckerman knew Alan Fornash. And I ended up meeting Fornash, and then Fornash would meet like some of my friends. Like, he knew Rod and a bunch of people. Like, all of us were all in the same circle of friends, and it was different from any other circle of friends because we were all in the same neighborhood. So you had different kids from different subdivisions that were bigger than ours, but there was more of us because like my subdivision had 200 houses, but they were all so packed tight together. Like, you really didn't notice it. Like, and then Park Place West had a, oh my god, I don't even want to know how many houses they had. Like, mine was the smallest. We had 200 houses in my subdivision. So 200 houses, and just think, if probably 50 of them had kids, 25 of them had kids that were born between 84 and 89. And there's probably more than that. And then you, like, that was the smallest. So let's say this is 25 of that. So we were all cool. And then Park Place, then Turnberry Place, or Turnberry Farms or whatever, or the original Park Place, the Park Place West, like, had even more because they're much bigger than ours. So we were all friends with one another. We all knew each other. We all knew each other's houses and everything. And I was very, very lucky to grow up and come up with those people. That made high school a lot easier. That's why, like, when we were talking about bullying, like, there really wasn't any bullies because we all knew each other. We couldn't bully each other. It was like, and if it was picking on one of us, like picking on our own little brother, like, you really, it was, I don't know, it's like a mob mentality. If you mess with one of us, like, literally you had to mess with all of us. Because there's no way in hell I'm gonna let Rod get beat up or Rod get messed with, and then have to go home and look at his mom and dad in the face like, I thought that was supposed to be your friend. You gonna let your friend get his ass kicked? Like, that's probably why I get my ass kicked as much times as I should have got my ass kicked. Like, because I had so many friends, and I think I knew that in the back of my mind, like, fuck this, I'm not gonna get beat up. Like, no, not in this neighborhood. This is my house. Like, all of my friends are right here. Like, no one's gonna come in here and mess with me. F that. And then if push really came to shove, I had my cousins who lived in Independence Village, which is like pseudo Turnberry. Like, those kids were, we all kind of knew them too. They went to Groveport, but we still knew kids that lived in Independence Village. It's like anything off of Hans Road was just great. And like I said, growing up and go through that Pickerton, like, and having that competition, like, oh, I'm gonna be better than you in whatever it is we're gonna do, made growing up in Pickerton so much easier. Like, being a suburban black kid growing up in that environment, you're getting pushed in the right direction. Like, yes, there's all these other distractions, but you're getting, it wasn't like, oh man, I wonder if I'm going to go to college, or I wonder if I'm going to graduate high school. It's like, no, like, I wonder what college I'm getting into. Like, I wonder how much scholarship money I'll be able to get. Like, oh man, I can go to either school A, who's only giving me a half scholarship. I can go to school B, who's giving me 3/4 scholarship, if those even exist or whatever. Like, you were kind of expected to be like, okay, you're now in Pickerton. Like, you're now in a top school. Like, you're out of Columbus Public and that shitty ass system. Succeed. And a lot of us have. And it's like, congratulations to all those people. I'll never be mad at any of my friends, especially growing up with them and going through the same things they went through and being mad at them for it. Like, no, dude. Like, we didn't hate on each other. Like, we might make fun. I had purple shoes, which is a trend that kind of I didn't know about that was going to happen. But they'd make fun of me. But at the end of the day, we also had each other's back. Like, we all just walked in each other's houses like, hey, what's up? We knew, yes, Mrs. Harris, or yes, Mrs. Young. Like, we all had manners because we all knew we were going to get a whooping. And then we were going to get a whooping by our parents for disrespecting other kids' parents. So nothing was really sacred. Like, as in, like, oh, we're not going to talk about it. But, like, no, dude, like, those are all our friends, and like essentially now, like all our family, like when we all have kids, we're gonna get together and tell our kids these stupid ass stories we did that of us growing up, and it was an amazing thing, like being able to relay this to this lady at work, like man, like this was our lives, like being from Pickerington, like especially being black, like they're all like most of the friends that I'm cool with from Pickerington, most of them are the black kids. It's not anything against the white kids, it's that like I've known all those kids longer, and it was never like we ever fell apart. We stayed in touch by some way around. Like they'll never be off my friends list. Like if I create a new profile today, those are the people that I'm after my like immediate family. I'm adding them just because I can't imagine my life not involving those people. Too much fun. Like too many memories, too many times getting in trouble. Like too many good things happen. And like that's why I'd never be like, oh man, I hate where I'm from. Like, nah, dude, like I got over that shit as soon as I turned like 20 or 21. And you start partying with these people because you realize like this super packed village that is Pickerington, then you make it even smaller into this one little half a mile long, or if a mile long road connects all of us like together. And that is probably the most amazing thing about it, is that when you sit back and think about it, it's like, man, that was us. Like, and then we see like our little brothers and sisters coming through, and they're like, man, they're gonna have different experiences. But I think us were like, because a lot of us were all boys, so we were all a lot closer. Like we all had younger siblings and everything, but us being pretty much either the older kids, like we were allowed to venture out, so we wouldn't had to find our own friends. In Pickerington, you had to find your own fun. Back in between 94 and 96, 97, you had to find your own fun. You had to. Like, look, damn, there's nothing to do. So it's just that situation made everything growing up in Pickerington that much easier, and it made everybody coming through there, even through pretty much anybody that graduated at before '06 can kind of tell you the same stories if they spent at least middle school on up, like from middle school on up to graduation in Pickerington. They can pretty much tell you the exact same stories and the exact same events. Like we went through it all. We went through school shootings, not at our school, but just witnessing that. We went through 9/11. We went through 4 bomb threats in 2 weeks. Like, can you imagine that? 4 bomb threats in 2 weeks. Like, 4. It's not like, oh man, this is horrible. Like, no. 4. Like, before Pickerington was known for heroin, we were known for bomb threats. Because apparently, these kids didn't know how to deal, and they wanted to kill everybody very quickly, very loudly. But we all came through it, and it seemed like it didn't make us any smarter or better than anybody else of any other surrounding suburb of Columbus, but just made us special to us, because we have all this new money, you have cornfields, you have nothing to do, but you have your friends, essentially your surrogate family. And I think that was a point I wanted to relate to that lady. Like, man, it was awesome. Like, I wouldn't change anything about me growing up from the age from 94 to 2005. I would not change at all. The girls I didn't get, the money I wasted, the times I was grounded, the parties I missed, nothing. I wouldn't change it, because that made me who I am, and I know my friends will feel the same way. It made us who we are, and we can have nothing but good feelings for looking back, because we're all still alive. Like, everyone from that neighborhood is still alive today. And I think through the grace of God, actually, and just pure luck, we're all still alive, and none of us have gone that far off the deep end to where we can't look back and be like, man, I miss those guys. So hopefully I get to see them all soon. Like, this is pretty much like even everybody from Hines Road, but all the people, like I said, from my freshman year in 2001, 2002 to my senior year, 2004, 2005, that I can see again, man, and wish them well, man. Like, it's crazy. We all got to meet up sometime. But I mean, growing up in Pickerington was probably the best thing for me, and I loved it. And I'm pretty sure my friends thinking back will feel the same way. Peace.